When my brother and I were elementary school, junior high, we loved to be able to dare one another to do things. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm sure you got in plenty of trouble because someone dared you to do something. Well, one of those dares was that my brother said, "I dare you to go into the pasture with the horse." Now, what he was talking about is my grandfather's horse. You see, he had a thoroughbred horse that he was training and hoped to race. If you know anything about thoroughbreds, they are mean. That's basically what their temperament is. And so he knew exactly what was going to happen, and so did I. But because he triple dog dared me, I had to do it. So the problem was this pasture was surrounded by an electric fence. So of course I got shocked as I went in. I got as close to the horse as I possibly could, and it did exactly what I knew it was going to do. Turned to me and it started running after me. And of course, as I was leaving the pasture, I was literally flying through that fence, and I got shocked again going out. And you know what? That whole thing went really bad. But isn't that the way dares often go? One more dare. My brother said, "Hey, I dare you to put your feet in this noose. Don't worry, nothing's going to happen." Well, a couple hours later, after hanging upside down for way too long, I was able to get out. You know what? All I can say is brothers will be brothers, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. When we're talking about daring to pray courageous prayers, that's not the kind of dare I'm talking about at all. I'm speaking of the courage that we gather to ourselves that compels us forward to take a risk. And I'll tell you why it's a risk. You know, you look around this corner right here as I'm overlooking the marketplace. This represents life. Life is dirty, it's messy, it's stained. There's just garbage all around. And sometimes when we're looking at this and the difficulties of the relationships that we face based on the three corners that I've already talked about, all these interact. And sometimes those look like mountains. But I need you to know mountains are the very thing that Jesus has called us in order to move. You see, we pray courageous prayers, and we dare to do so because when we pray, we are literally moving the heart of God. And when we pray, we are literally moving the heart of people. Now, often we have the wrong picture of prayer in our mind. And I know this because I had it for a long time, and it really wasn't all that accurate. And as I talk to people about what prayer is, often we misunderstand it. I'll tell you what the real picture is. It's you, it's me, stepping into the presence of the living God. He loves us. And because He loves us, He's invited us into His presence. And He's asking us to ask Him. He's challenging us to ask Him to move mountains. When we look at the relationships, when we look at the opportunities that aren't there to share Christ or that are there to share Christ, very often they look like mountains and we don't want to climb them. But God says, "I want you to step into my presence, and I want you to know that I want to move the mountain for you. Ask me to move the mountain." Now that is a courageous prayer, and we need courage because when we pray these things, God's going to create opportunities, and we're going to need that courage as we would step in to those opportunities. I believe that God has led us to pray, Heights Church, this prayer as we enter this new season. Oh God, awaken the hearts of our generation to Jesus.